All right. Well, first, I just want to say thank you guys for attending Mixed Company. Many of you have attended either my January or my February session, and a couple of you are brand new to the experience. So, for those of you that have not experienced Mixed Company, I'm just going to give you just a quick rundown of what it is, and then we'll actually get started. So, Mixed Company was actually my brainchild back in January. I was just randomly thinking about ways that I wanted to start to do more things in Columbus because I am new to the city. I love planning events. Anybody that knows me back from Cleveland, I love getting people together. I love connecting people. I love throwing events. It's just something that I really, really enjoy. And so now that I'm in a new city and I'm meeting new people, I want to get back into that space of planning events and meeting more people. So honestly, I don't really remember how I came up with the actual concept of mixed company, but it was just more so along the lines of one thing that I enjoy doing, even on social media. Like if we're Facebook friends, you may notice like I love engaging in dialogue on Facebook about all types of topics, whether I'm posing questions or whether I'm engaging in somebody else post, whatever the case may be. I just love having good conversation. And so the idea of mixed company was kind of along the lines of a Facebook in person and bringing people together to have conversation about different things, from it could be from politics, sex, relationships, music, anything. And so I figured that it would be cool to get people together in a room, people that don't necessarily know each other, to come together in a room over drinks and good food and have conversation. But when you first come to the event, you don't know what you're walking into. So it's invite only. It's a small group of people. You walk in, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And then I explain to you what the event is with, the other people in the room that you don't know. And I allow for you to come up with questions that we can start going through together as a group. So that's kind of the background of what mixed company is. Now, because of COVID-19, obviously social distancing is what we are restricted to at this point. And so April 17th actually would have been the day that I would have done my third mixed company event, but obviously we can't leave the house. So I still wanted to do it. I still wanted to keep the momentum going because it's still new. And so literally probably a couple days before I text messaged you all, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it via Zoom and see how this works. So this is the first time doing it like virtually on Zoom. And I'm really excited to see how this goes and see how it could potentially grow and continue to be something that is virtual and maybe in the future bring it back to something that is in person. So with that being said, the first thing that's really important is to make sure everybody here is comfortable and has gotten acquainted with one another. So like I did at my first two mixed company events, we start the event with just a little icebreaker so that if there's somebody here that you don't know, you kind of get to know them. And then from there, we move on with the event. So today's icebreaker is if everybody can just kind of go around and I'll call your name. I think I'm gonna just do it in the order that people join the meeting to keep it simple. But if you can just say your name, where you're from, and then tell me one musical artist, it could be rap, it could be Christian, it could be R&B, whatever. Give me one artist that you would want to do an album about your life and why. So think about an artist that you feel like really resonates with your life story, and just kind of briefly elaborate on why you chose that particular artist. Okay?
Mhm.
Any questions or concerns? You guys' faces are so funny. Okay, so Juaniqua, would you like to start?
Sure. My name is Janiqua. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Um, I do not have any artists that I don't I don't know. I don't do that. I don't have any favorites or anybody that I go off of. So maybe another question. I don't know.
Um, do you have a favorite actor or actress that you would cast as like the star of your life movie?
Mm-mm.
Girl.
Sorry.
All right, well, that's fine. I ain't gonna force the answer out of you. All right, Kima, go ahead. You were the next person.
All right, my name is Kima Roberts. I'm from Port Arthur, Texas, and I think the artist that I most resonate with, I jam him all the time. I'm an old school type cat, so I like Smokey Robinson. You know, he's soulful. He tells a story. You know, it's just I mean, I just love his music. You know, he's one of those artists that just, you know, puts me in a good mood. You know, anytime I listen to his music, I would say him and the Isley Brothers, because I've been through a lot of drama in my life. So the the stuff that the Isley Brothers have made over the past few years, you know, the things that they've made with R. Kelly, and you know, of course, not to compare R. Kelly, but you know, some of the things that they've made with R. Kelly and stuff, the drama field stuff. I've experienced a lot of that type of stuff in my life. So I would say those two artists, the Isley Brothers and Smokey Robinson.
Okay. I think Tara was next.
Hi, my name is Tira. I live in Cleveland, and if I had to cast, I'd probably cast Jada. Why? Um, I've definitely been compared to her for a lot of my life, but a lot of the things that she does outside of being an actress, a lot of the things that she stands for, are causes that I believe in as well. So one of those causes is definitely human trafficking. I've done some work in that area. So yeah.
Okay, Angel.
Sorry, I thought I had more time to chew. What's the question again?
Say your name.
Your name, where you're from, and either a musician that you would want to do an album about your life, or an actor or actress that you would cast as the star of the movie or story of your life.
Okay. My name is Angel Brazell. I'm originally from Cleveland, moved to Toledo, Ohio, and now I'm in Columbus. The artist that I choose would be Janae Aiko, because she's very passionate, she's deep, she's soulful, and I want someone to be able to tell my story in that manner, because that's what I am deep down inside.
Okay. We have another person joining, Tevis, once he gets connected. All right, and Milan. Oh, Greg, no, you can go, Greg, go.
All right, so I'm Greg. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and it would either be, I have three artists in mind, but if I had to choose, it would probably be Pharrell, because I too am a drummer. He does play drums. He does sing and rap and produce, and he's very eclectic. And so me and him are very similar in that fashion. So if I had to choose, it would be Pharrell.
Okay, cool. And Milan.
Okay. Hey everyone, I had to chew as well because I'm over here eating. So my name is actually Mylan, but it's spelled like Milan. I'm originally from Cleveland, but I'm now in Columbus. And the artist that I resonate with, Janae Aiko, was mine, so now I have to change. So I'm like, okay. I would probably go with Jill Scott, just because she's very soulful. Like you can really hear a lot of like she's a really good storyteller from when she did spoken word, and then when she transitioned into becoming an artist, and then just with a lot of her roles is really talking about body positivity, and you know, for a fuller, thicker woman, I really resonate with her. So.
All right, thank you. So Eric and Tevis just joined the party. Hey, Eric and Tevis. Where y'all go?
I'm here. I'm multitasking. What's going on, everyone?
Hey, Eric, can you hear me?
I do. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Good.
What's going on?
All right, so you guys missed the intro, but
Okay.
you already know the background of this event. So right now, pretty much what everybody is doing is just introducing themselves. So they're saying their name, where they're from, and if you can think of one musical artist that you would like to do an album about your life, tell us who and why, or an actor or an actor that you would want to star in a movie about your life.
Mm.
So I'm gonna let you guys think for a little bit, and I'm gonna go because I haven't gone yet, and then Tevis, and then Eric. Cool.
Oh.
Okay. So you guys know me. I don't have to say my name, but originally from Cleveland, here in Columbus. And if I had to choose, I would say if I had to choose an artist to do an album about my life, this may be cliche, but it would be Drake because I feel like I resonate with his music a lot. I think for me, one of my biggest challenges in life that everybody probably knows is just dating and relationships. And Drake, all his music is, for the most part, about dating and relationships, things that he has gone through with women in his past and stuff like that. So I feel like there's a lot of songs of his that I definitely relate to. And then just to kind of throw in a bonus, if I had to choose an actress to do my life in a movie, it would probably be Zoe Saldana because I absolutely love her. And I've been told that we look alike. So I guess it would be great to have someone that also looks like me. So
That is true.
all right. So Tevis, go ahead.
All right. So what's going on, guys? Originally from Alabama, I live in Cleveland. You said music artist?
A music artist, or to do your album, or an actor to do a movie.
So I would probably pick J. Cole for mine. Just because I feel like he be spitting real shit, like real life stuff. And it will probably go well when you try to talk about somebody's real life, right? So that would be mine as far as actor. That's a good question.
And if you don't have anybody, that's fine too.
I don't have nobody.
All right, Eric.
What up, everybody? My name is Eric King. I am originally from Cleveland, still lives in Cleveland. A musician to do an album on me. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with Nipsey. Because just the way he tells his stories. He doesn't need a lot of like catchy phrases. He doesn't need a lot of witty metaphors. Like, he gonna give you real. And the things that he talk about, his content is, from being in the streets, not necessarily something I identify with, but just the struggle, relationships, resiliency, and getting to it, man. Being about your business, man. Being a man of your word, bringing your people up, supporting, giving back. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for, going around and introducing yourself. So we're actually going to get right into the question part. So I pulled up the site, and there's a lot of questions in there already for us to get started. But if you haven't submitted questions and you would like to throughout the course of this, I sent everybody the information, but the website is slido.com, so SLIDO.com, and the access code is #320. So with that access code, you can submit your questions. It does give you an option to put your name, but I ask that you don't put your name and that you put it as anonymous. And as the questions come through, it'll pop up on my phone through the app. So to get us started with the first question that we have is monogamy or polygamy, and why? So how this works is anybody can just take the floor. Anybody can jump in if you have a particular thought or response about the question or the topic. You can just kind of jump in, and then the dialogue will just kind of go from there as we have conversation about it. So again, the question is monogamy or polygamy, and why?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do you guys think, not to go off from the other question, do you guys think humans are like monogamous? Like,
we had this conversation already.
So you think we're like wired to be monogamous, or wired to be like more than one person? Because how I look at it, it's like a lot of people have been with more than one person in their lifetime. Maybe not at the same time, but like, so that's how I view, like, I don't think humans are like monogamous in that aspect.
He thinks we're like animals.
Yeah.
So you mean that, okay, because I mean, I agree. I think that we've all been different people over the course of time. But when I think about this particular question, or even when I think about the word monogamy or polygamy, period, for me, I'm just thinking about in that moment.
In that moment?
Yeah, so I know for me personally, I'm all about monogamy for spiritual reasons. And then also, I'm just selfish. I don't want to know or think about the fact that the guy that I'm with is also with other women in that capacity, because polygamy, and I don't know much about polygamy, but for example, I had an ex-boyfriend who was Muslim, and he believed in polygamy, but he wasn't in a space to have multiple wives at the time. But he said if he had the resources to be married to multiple women, he would be married to multiple women. But with polygamy, in the Muslim culture at least, you have to treat each woman the same. So like one woman can't have this really nice house and then the other woman is living in an apartment, and then another woman is living at home with her mama. From my understanding, everybody has to be treated on the same playing field. And so for me, I would not be okay with knowing that the same amount of love, affection, attention, resources, money, everything, 2, 3, 4 other women are also receiving.
That's a lot of emotions for one person anyways. I won't be able to do that. I couldn't.
I think that my healing process and just unraveling like the true nature of what it means to love someone, love has taught me that there's no ownership in love. So in terms of this is mine, like my views have kind of changed. I respect monogamy and I respect polygyny. I used to practice. I'm saying like polygynous marriages that actually work. And it's interesting, like, when you desire monogamy, right? Like, it's really like, I think it's the emotional part of us that doesn't want mate, like, to kind of get to other relationships outside of us. But I have a male friend, he's a little older, he has 2 wives, and his first wife he's been married to for over 20 years. His second wife, he's been married to her for at least 10, because I met him like 10 years ago, and I think the second marriage was really new. His first wife was the one that suggested that he go and get another wife.
Wow.
Because she basically like, hey, I love you, but like, hey, I think it's time. Like, so he got another wife. And what he told me was that he understood that the man that he was a combination of both of the personalities of his wives. Like, there were things that one wife could bring out of him that the other one couldn't. Like, he is an artist, but he developed he developed those gifts because of his second wife, not because of his first wife. So he credits them both like for what he has grown to be. One was with him like in the trenches, like before he got his life together, when he was in the streets. And then the other woman didn't know him, like when he was in the streets. And it works. So
I mean, I guess if it works for your situation, but me personally, again, spiritually and just emotionally, I could not be in a polygamous relationship. That's just
some people just is not built for that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, I think there are some men that I have met in my life, and I'm like, yo, that's in you. Like, why are you trying to be in a monogamous relationship? Because you are a hunter. Like, you pray. I believe some men pray and other men like don't. But then I also, on the other hand, I feel like women are taught to heal and men are taught to whore. So when a man doesn't trust, or like when he doesn't trust women, then this is a thing. It's trauma bonding for him. But I also think it's a difference in having like a open relationship with someone when you're not married versus being in a polygynous marriage. Because in polygyny, depending on how a person worships God, like there are laws and there are rules. Like, you're not just supposed to take wives and not do anything for them or with them. So in the Islamic culture, one of the biggest reasons why men shouldn't have two wives is because most of them are struggling to take care of one wife. Like, so the Quran, it says like that you can have more than one wife, but it says if you are wise, you will only have one. So an open relationship, maybe, but a polygynous marriage, I don't know. When I considered that, I considered it for selfish reasons, because I didn't want to deal with my own shit. So it would have been easy for me to ignore my own issues revolving around commitment to be in a relationship like where it wasn't fully committed. Like, okay, you could just go home to your other wife. Like, I don't have to always be smothered by you. I don't have to always, like, I don't know. I went through that phase. Like, and sometimes I still think about it. Like, oh, so when I get married, I can have a secret apartment. Like, my mind still, I don't know, like works like that sometimes. Like, forever is a long time. And like waking up next to the same person every day, forever in the same routine, it's a part of me that's like, that shit sounds boring.
But free, you're such a free spirit, so I can see why that would be difficult for you. So what's everybody's thoughts since it came up? Especially, I definitely want to hear from the guys. Like, what are some of you guys' thoughts on polygamy or just open relationships, period?
Well, for me, what she said just now kind of resonated with an experience that I've had when she said, waking up, to the same person over and over, it's just not for her. I mean, the thing is, I was a project manager for the state of Ohio, and, I thought it was something I wanted to do until I looked on my project sheet and seen that I had the same projects all the way into 2023. I'm like, I'm going to be working on the same stuff for all these years. I can't do it. I need some change in my life. I can't do it. So I became a network engineer. The thing is, for me, it's like I respect polygamy, but for me, being in a monogamous relationship, it's a spiritual thing for me. I've been in a situation where, I had a girlfriend, and she eventually found out that I was, of course, in my younger days, I was messing around on her and stuff. But, and for a while, she just was comfortable with it because she didn't want to be without me. But on the inside of me, I felt that it was wrong. Like it was actually bothering me because my thoughts were, she's okay with this. Is she doing the same thing to me? Just those thoughts alone bothered me. So, I wouldn't, while I respect polygamy, I don't think it's in me to be married to two people, because I definitely, like Greg said, it's a bunch of emotions. For me, I don't think I could give the same amount of emotion to two different women. I mean, you're going to be your favorite.
I'm enough.
Oh,
I
Lord.
don't think, but I don't think men do. I think that is impossible. Like the things that are the same are, you need a nice house, you need a nice car, you need groceries, and I got to take care of these kids and these bills.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the interactions that they have with those women, I definitely don't think they're the same that interaction, yes, sex. But in terms of the emotional part of it, I don't think that's always the same.
Sometimes guys don't think about that.
Favorite,
Right.
I just think you learn how you mesh, like with both personalities. Like
Right.
you play the same role, but it does, because all women aren't super emotional. Like I think, like, yeah, I think authenticity, like it just depends on the people.
It depends on the person.
Right.
Yeah.
And also for a man, whether you're emotional or not, you will have your favorite. So how does that work for the outsider, the one who knows that she's not the favorite? I mean, how does that
Side chick?
look 5 years from now? Say, for instance, y'all together, and how does that look 5 years from now when you're obviously not the favorite?
Yeah, fair.
So women, me speaking, um, as a man, how would you as women feel if you know that you're not the clear favorite?
I feel like a woman that's open to being in that type of situation is a different type of woman. As far as her thought process, her emotions, her expectations, her wants, her needs. I think someone that is emotionally strong enough, and I use quotes very loosely, a woman that can put herself in that situation, I think is not, you can't compare her to a woman like myself who's not comfortable with that situation. So because I know that I get jealous and I would not be comfortable with even being in that situation, I would never be okay knowing that I'm not the favorite, because in my mind, I'm number one. I come first. Nobody else comes before me. Especially if I'm your wife. So, but a woman that's in that situation, emotionally, she probably processes her emotions differently than the way that I would. And that's why she's in that situation. So I don't know if it would be an issue for her, or if she would even think about the fact that she's not the favorite. It may not even cross her mind, like, I wonder, does he like her more than he likes me?
Right.
She's probably in it for different reasons. It may not be for the emotional connection. Like Tira said, all women aren't super emotional or really emotional beings, but obviously that's the assumption until you run across a woman who's not. And so I'm not saying that a woman that would be in that situation is not emotional. I just feel like she probably processes and goes through that emotional process differently than a woman who could never find herself in that type of situation.
Right. And see, for me, I don't have no experiences with, polygamy or anything like that, but, watching the sitcom Sister Wives, it wasn't until, I think he had eight or nine wives or something like that. But it wasn't until he went off to jail that 4 of them was jealous of 2 others, and it became quite apparent. I think I'm not sure what religion it was they practiced, but I think 4 of them actually divorced them. So you never know what these women may be experiencing, what their mindset is when they're going through, when they're going through it. So I mean, when you look at the show, of course it's entertainment, but when you look at the show, these ladies all looked happy. I mean, it was always one that seemed to have a problem. And of course, she was the one that spoke up like, yeah, I didn't care for such and such because, he always was lovey-dovey with her and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just that's an interesting question. It's a great question, but I can only go off of the things that I've seen and the things that I've experienced as a boyfriend, to women and stuff. So yeah, that's my take on it.
I think when I was experiencing that phase of my life where I actually thought about polygyny, one of the other things that was big or huge that was a difference in my life versus the other household and that family is that I don't have any children. Like my daughter is grown. So there were children in the other household. So for me, I think there was some detachment, like in emotion for me. Like I would be connected, but I don't have enough connection to not walk away from this if I don't enjoy it. I don't know. But to say the least, it was never a reality for me. And to clarify, at this point in time in my life, I'm not interested in being in a polygynous marriage. But in relationships in general, I feel like the beginning phase of most relationships that we are building, like it seems like they're always open in the beginning. Because if there's no commitment, then how do you seal it?
I understand that, and see, we experience that now. I mean, it's heightened with the applications of technology that you have today, like Tinder and Bumble and stuff. You pretty much are on a dating website in which you have a woman that you find, but there's other women out there that know that there are multiple women in your inbox that you are communicating with. So, I understand where where you're going with, when you meet somebody, it's open. But, what about when you seal that deal? You know, um, do you remain on that application? How would you feel if you remained on that? How would the other feel if you remained on that application?
When you say seal the deal, meaning like you guys decided to be exclusive, but you're still on the dating app, even though you're exclusive with that person.
Yeah. So like how does that work? I mean, does it even correlate? I'm kind of correlating to what she was just saying, but for me, it kind of allowed me to touch on, the favorite. You're still on this website, but you have an exclusive. The
But
one
I
that
feel like once we have that conversation of exclusivity, when you're exclusive, that means that it's just me and you. There's nobody else involved. So you said what?
I think what's going on is people got their own definition of exclusive. So it sounds like he has his own. What's your definition of exclusive?
You're right. So yeah, if it's a mutual agreement upon exclusivity, then yeah, it's just you and I. So that's the next step to you becoming my girlfriend. So But
You need to get up off that app then, boo. It's just me and you, not all these little bumblebees. So go ahead and deactivate that account.
Right, I feel you on that. But the thing is, though, you know, you have some people that's like, you know what, we exclusive, we intimate, but you know, you not my girl. You know, people would use that.
Okay, so exclusive means, so some people's definition of exclusive means we're together, but we're not together.
So
you
it's always
put the ring on it. Is that what you're
So
saying?
the definition. Let's break down the definition.
You know, it's always that gray line, though. You know, it's always that gray line. So you know, that's why I say, you know, it's tough to mesh the two. So you know, I mean, I might be veering the conversation a little bit because of course, you know, this is about monogamous and polygamy.
No, that's fine. That's how I want the conversations to flow, and then we open up other questions and dialogue. So it's totally fine.
Okay. All right. So so my question is, when do you get off the app? Like
when we become exclusive, when we become exclusive, when we have the conversation like, hey, I like you, you like me, we've been hanging out, and I don't find myself interested in anybody else. We're gonna move forward together. This is the goal or whatever. Once we have that conversation and we are on the same page, my expectation would be that you would get off the site.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I agree with her. I do agree with her. However, I have came to the conclusion that
uninstall, delete the account first. Okay, go ahead.
Some people, I guess, like some people already get themselves off the app before they actually talk together and be like, okay, I'm gonna get off the app. So like for me, I'm on those apps. I mean, I'm not on the app anymore, but I was on those apps. I was on Tinder. And before I met who I'm talking to, it didn't take long. So like I love this conversation because I would talk to multiple men at the same time. I know what I want when I see it, right? So I would talk to them. I would talk to a bunch of them at the same time, and it was easy to dismiss who, you know what I'm saying, like who I didn't like, real easy. And so when I got to one that I might have been interested in, I was just conversing with that one person. And so as it progressed, I just automatically deleted the app. And that's without us like coming to the conclusion that we both doing it. I mean, eventually we came to that, but I'm just saying, like, I did it before even letting him know that I did that.
So Good job.
That would be hard for me because, so I've been on the Bumble apps, and I never did Tinder, but I was on Bumble, and I've been on Bumble on and off for the past 2 or 3 years. I'm not on it right now. And from my track record with Bumble, I've made it far with some guys, but there was never a situation because of my experience on the app where I felt like once I got down to one or maybe even just 2 guys that I really vibe with, that I was willing to delete the app just off the strength of we were really vibing more than the other guys in my inbox. Like, because then you're vibing with this guy or girl for the guys, and you start text messaging. Okay, now you in the text message inbox. You may not even make it to an in-person date. So I done went from Bumble, we vibing, okay, let's exchange numbers. Now we exchange numbers, now we texting, maybe some phone calls, maybe a FaceTime or 2, and it seemed cool, but for whatever reason, it doesn't turn into anything. So now I done deleted the app because of a guy that I was consistent with for 2 weeks. So let me tell y'all, I don't save numbers in my phone until you made it past 90 days. Because from my experience, I can't speak for other women, but from my experience, you meet a guy and it seems like it's going really well. And then there's a curveball. And you may not even know what that curveball is. And next thing you know, y'all not talking anymore. So I'm not comfortable personally deleting. Well, I'm not on the app now, but if I was still on the app, I'm not comfortable deleting the app just because I started vibing with one or two guys and it seems potential, because guys be throwing curveballs.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's funny that this is the direction, right? So you got the app, and then you just got general like social media places like Facebook, like IG. Like, I think those places are starting to operate as,
Dating sites.
yeah, yeah.
but it's interesting. Like, I have this young lady that I follow, and I'm not really good friends with her, but she is an artist, so that's why I follow her. And I think I've never experienced a woman, I guess, like expressing this as clear as she did, right? So when men are dating or they're meeting women, they're flirting with multiple women, they're dating multiple women. Women, like was saying, like, okay, so you meet somebody, the conversation's going good, you exchange numbers, you just stop meeting other people.
I mean, I don't, but go
I
ahead.
Yeah, I did both. I did a little bit of what you do, and then I did what
Right. So she
for a
was
long time.
saying, like, so she's married, and I think she's been married for maybe like 2 years. It's not new, but and she was telling the story of what she used to tell her husband. Basically, there is no commitment without marriage. So we can go out and we can hang out, but if this is what you want, you need to bring a ring. Until you bring a ring, I will continue to see other people. While you are my favorite and you get the most of my time, that does not mean that I will not meet other people and spend time with other people.
So does she not make these guys her? Does she not have a boyfriend?
And that's what she did. Like, I'm not your girlfriend. You're not my boyfriend. I connect with your energy more than I connect with their energy, but I have other options. And sometimes I do hang out with them because this is not what commitment looks like for me.
So would she get in relationships with these guys? Like, would she, okay, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, but I'm still gonna date other guys?
No, she didn't have a boyfriend.
Okay.
It was
so like, no titles.
I'm single, you're single. If you don't want me to be single, then you will marry me. Like, there is no, I don't know, it's interesting.
So she never got
my brain out the same thing.
My brain works like that. Like, I think the whole boyfriend, girlfriend, I feel like that's fluff. Like, I feel like it's the comfort zone.
I asked somebody that just said that.
It's like it's a comfort zone.
I was saying
that we can never, and we don't move out of it. Like, we just get comfortable with this illusion of commitment.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what about engagement? So if you're skipping boyfriend, do you just jump right to marriage, or do you stay engaged for a little?
No, I think you still spend time getting to know the person.
Okay.
But I haven't used a title in a relationship since like 2010 or 2011. Like, I don't understand titles. And like, if I'm not your wife, then I'm not nothing. I'm your friend. Like, you're getting to know me. Yeah. We are friends. Like, we're building a friendship, and sometimes we may do other things.
More than friends.
I
feel this friend.
Fuck we have created. But if it's not marriage, it's not. I don't understand commitment outside of being married. I don't know. That's hard for me.
My question is like as a man, you know, say for instance, if I was in a situation with this woman, how do I even get to home base with this woman if I know that she's out there with other guys? Because my thing is she'll never get a commitment from me if I know that she's already not 100% in it. There's no way that it could be 0 or 100. I don't see it. It has to be a buildup before you even eligible for a ring.
I do think build up. I think when we think somebody is with someone else, we automatically think that they're physically involved. Like, I have catered to a lifestyle of abstinence for like the last 3 years of my life. Like, I don't need my whole hand to count how many sexual experiences I've had in the last 3 years, but I've had some very, very interesting and cool experiences meeting people and 86 a lot of the things that we do to build relationship, and sex was one of those things for me. Like, we can hang out, we can have conversation where I can really get to know your ass and understand your trauma, and you can understand mine, because I need to know if we're trauma building or if we're actually growing into something. So there are just things that I have started to eliminate from relationships when I meet guys, to really see if we're building foundation or if it's just a lot of fluff. I think the more we, and I'm saying women, like, I think women choose. I know that we're taught that men choose, but I'm learning that we make a lot of choices in how our relationships go, but it's easy to look at a man's trauma and it's harder to look at your own. So I had to start looking, I guess, at my own trauma, my own walls. And I don't know, like, I just learned some really interesting things about me, not necessarily about the men that I allowed to come in, but like just about myself. So when I say no, talk to multiple men until I understand that I have something real, that's exactly what I mean. Talk to them, get to know them, hang out with them. I do not mean get in the bed with them. Like, I 86 those things, like, in relationship, to really be able to understand like what is really happening when people come into my space.
Mm-hmm.
How does a man, for me, like with that situation, how does a man acquire the mind, your mind, body, and heart, knowing that he don't have all of that to be able to provide you with that ring? Like,
because the only way you can get all of that is to lock that shit down. I think there are ways that you let somebody know that that's the path that you're on without having to have all the fluff. I think that happens in communication, and it also happens in action. If a man shows me that he's consistent, that he be committed, you know what I'm saying, that he has built a lifestyle where I can come in, and I have built a lifestyle where he can come in. I think all that just happens in the build up. But I think when people meet people initially, like, of course, we know somebody was already there. We know it might be underlying trauma. We, like, there are things I think we already know, so we're not walking in blind. Like, I'm 39. I have this theory. There isn't a man that I meet that has not been broken. Like, so there are two things. He's either still broken when I meet him, or he's going to show me that he loves himself. Because I know a lot of men that live the lifestyle. They got money, they got cars, they travel, they look good. But at the core, they are broken and they don't want to heal. And that's not what I want. I don't care about your money. I don't care about your car. I don't care about your career. If all this shit go down, like, what do you have at the core.
Yes.
Like what you got it in there. I don't care about the shit that make you look good. Like I want to see you naked. And that's a thing for me. So if I can't see you naked, no, you don't get all of me because I understand my value and I have given that shit away freely a whole lot of times and got emptied out in the process. So it took bad experiences for me to learn how to do it differently. I haven't always done it this way. I have been the woman. Okay, he pays all the bills. He doesn't want me to pay bills. We both work. I can spend my money on whatever I want to spend it on. We can travel. We have all these things. But at the end of the day, I didn't have his heart. So show me heart. Show me you naked. I need to see your core. And until I can see your core, I don't give a damn what you got, and I don't care what you say.
Okay, so I think we're still running. I think Kima, am I saying your name right? Are you Kima?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so I think Kima, and I know I am, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how, I mean, because you're saying, you know, the man this, I mean, like you're saying that he needs to be giving you this and that, but we're running into how does a man really get to know you if you're putting yourself in all these other different men? Like how can he even propose at all if he doesn't even know you?
Okay,
Right.
so real quick, guys, because we had 2 people join. Hey, John Paul and Alicia. Hey.
Lisa.
So just to bring you guys up to speed really quickly, the topic at hand. So the topic started off talking about polygamy or monogamy, why or why not. We went through that whole spiel, and then it kind of segued into dating websites, dating multiple people at one time, what that looks like. And Tara, who was the one I was just talking, was just saying how for her personally, she doesn't feel that there needs to be a title and that commitment doesn't happen until you're married. So if I'm dating you, I'm single pretty much until you put a ring on it. So I can talk to whoever I want to talk to until you put a ring on it. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And Kima had posed the question, as a man, how do you even want to propose to a woman when you know that she's out there dealing with a whole bunch of different men? So that's kind of where we're at right now.
I think it's the phase of relationship. Like, I think we skip the courtship phase. Like, I think dating is for when you decide that that's who you want to be with. So maybe I shouldn't use the word dating. Like, a lot of us never make it past the courting phase. We never even fully get to know.
Do men court? Do men still court?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Tavis, let me hear from you, Tavis. What are your thoughts about courting and men courting these days?
What do you mean? There's no thought.
You said what?
There is no thought. It's just something you do. I feel like. I mean,
Do you think most men court?
I can't say what most men do, but I do know a lot that do.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
somebody else said absolutely. E, was that you?
It depends on the woman. He'll court you if you're the right woman. We'll court you.
Yeah.
I haven't given a comment yet. I'm just listening. And what up, Alicia? I didn't know you was in here. How you doing?
What's up? I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry. We continue.
Well, let's hear from you, Eric.
Courtship.
It was. I kind of just trying to gather my thoughts. There was so much content.
So much said.
Yes, a lot being said. A lot of. But as far as courtship, absolutely, I believe in courtship. I mean, but sometimes it's kind of hard to gauge as a man for something to court. Like, yeah, you like a woman and you want to like, I'll just share some of my experiences. So 2 people say that they're interested in each other, and then I asked to take you out, and then okay, you're busy, but then you don't tell me another time or date that's free. You're like, oh yeah, I'm busy on Thursday, and that's the end of it. So in my pursuit, I'm continuing to maybe ask you out. You busy? You got something to do, and you never
Power on.
or date that's good. So to me, that I register that as you want to be chased, and I don't like I'm busy shit to do. Work goals, things. Monisa. Like I mean, hobbies, etc. So like, what am I doing? What are we doing in this situation? Or, even on the other side, I think I heard someone say, I'm not sure who said it, but you're dating, you're liking each other, and then it just kind of dries up. It just kind of, you excited, you're talking to them, and then something. And so, hey, did you get back with an ex-boyfriend? Did you lose interest? And people still just struggle communicating and just saying, like, I know you just told me the other day somebody kept it super real with you, and even in me saying this, I don't think I've kept it that real. You know what I'm talking about, Monisa?
Yeah, so to give you guys some backstory, so me and E had a conversation recently about ghosting and how common ghosting is. And I was telling him that probably about a year or so ago, I had met a guy on Bumble actually, and conversation was real cool, and we exchanged numbers, and our first conversation was via FaceTime. And we probably talked on the phone for maybe 15, 20 minutes, but it was I don't want to say it was dry, but the energy wasn't there. I can definitely tell, like, yeah, after this conversation, I'm probably not going to really hang with this guy anymore. So we get off the phone and he sends me a text message, and he pretty much says, like, hey, it was nice meeting you. I wasn't really feeling the vibe on the phone. I think it's best that we just not continue to communicate. Not verbatim, but that's pretty much what he said. Like, he felt the energy too, like it just wasn't there. And for me, it was shocking, but I respected it because I find in dating, the comfort zone is just ghosting. You meet someone, you talk, and for whatever reason, the vibes aren't there, the energy isn't there. So typically what we do is we fade to black. You just slowly stop talking to the person, you slowly stop responding to their messages, and that's just kind of what we do. And it's not okay, but that just seems to be the norm. But with this particular guy, out of every guy that I've ever dated in my life, he was the only one that was like real upfront. Like, hey, I wasn't feeling it. Let's not waste each other's time. It was nice meeting you. Have a nice life. And so I was just kind of having that conversation with E. Like, we find ourselves in situations where we're not really interested in a person, and we either prolong it knowing good and well we don't really like the person, but we just want to be nice, we don't want to be mean.
I'm
Or
guilty of that.
I'm guilty of it too. Or we ghost them. We just fade to black, no communication, no explanation, and then it's just like, okay, I don't know what happened, but whatever. And that's like the norm these days, and I just really respected the fact that he was just like, nah, I'm good.
But to wrap it all the way around, I definitely believe in courtship. I mean, I like to be active. I like to do different things, have different experiences. So yeah, I'm always down to go out, especially too. You can't really get to know someone through text. I mean, a phone call is a lot better, but just generally speaking, I don't think everybody has the time to really talk on the phone, enough time to really get to know someone. Like, you need to kind of, be face to face, lock in, sit with this person, have that one-on-one and personal connection. So
I know we've been on the topic of like relationships and stuff like that. I feel like when you get groups of people together, that always seems to be the go-to, relationships and dating. And we could probably go on and on all night about relationships and dating. But I kind of want to switch gears, and I do want to make sure that I get to some of the questions that you guys submitted. So there are a couple of relationship questions on here, but I'm not going to touch on those, and I'm going to switch it up. And one of the questions that was submitted was, how's your mental health holding up during quarantine?
Okay.
And I think that that's, a good topic because everybody is not processing this the same way. So if anybody wants to kind of just jump in and discuss, how has this been for you the last, 4 to 5 weeks? How are you doing?
Been that long?
I know for me, it's been great. Especially since I work with kids, especially at-risk kids. So that's a lot of mental energy to deal with those kind of kids on a daily basis. But since I've been out of school, I'm a musician, so I do a lot of recording. I worked on, try to perfect the craft in music, you know what I'm saying, get into stuff that I always wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? And I've been doing that for this time, focusing on that instead of, coming home work drained and not being able to focus and do any of those stuff because I'm mentally tired from work, you know what I'm saying? So I think just being at home and just be able to mentally focus and to stay clear in that aspect has been really good for me.
For me, at first, I'm excited because I get to work from home. So I'm like, oh, this is about to be the life. At first it was hard to, I don't know. It was just hard to deal. And I didn't know it was affecting me at first. Until one day I just cracked, and I haven't been outside in a while, and I'm just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. So I got outside and I felt better. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure out this new life and figure out what steps and what routine I need. And now that I got the routine down, I'm living the new normal.
I know for me personally, and I had actually posted this on Facebook, I think it was yesterday, I'm at peace. I'm actually at my highest self, my highest vibration since I've been on this quarantine. And I mean, of course, it's definitely unfortunate for people that have really been affected by it. And I hate that aspect of it. But for me personally, I've been able to focus a lot more. I've been a lot more productive. I've been able to knock out goals that I have for myself. I've been able to be more consistent with working out. I'm getting into meditation. Just enjoying being outside on my patio and taking in nature and connecting with the earth and all of those things. This is probably the best that I've been in a really long time. I mean, just very transparently, prior to, I was struggling at work. I wasn't happy. I wasn't at peace. So I really needed this break. And I don't want to go back yet. I'm not ready to go back. So I'm definitely appreciative of all of the things that I'm able to do during this time. So it's kind of where I'm at.
I would say for me, I mean, honestly, it's been amazing for me. Of course, it's been more so bittersweet because I tend to think about all the people that are negatively affected.
Yeah.
I work at a children's hospital, and since I'm in IT, we have the ability to work from home. So not a lot of people had that ability. So some people got laid off. Some people, pretty much is used up all the PTO, and now they have to file for unemployment. So for me, it's been bittersweet. The positive side of it, though, is, I'm just in a better space mentally. Now that I know that I'm safe, I know how to go about being safe, taking care of my personal health, to be around my house, and do some of the things that I wanted to do that I knew I probably couldn't have done without having this extra time being at home, like, just fixing up my garage, fixing up my house like I want to, making extra money on the side by creating websites and stuff, things that I typically wouldn't have been able to do with the time that I have in my own personal space. For me, it's been amazing. Like I said, that's the positive side of it. But the negative side, I think about the people that's lost their lives and, the people that it has affected, in negative ways. But mentally, like I said, mentally is bittersweet. But for me personally, I'm in a real good space. I don't want to go back to work yet. And, I just, honestly, I just hope, we have at least 2 or 3 more weeks now. That's me being biased, speaking on my situation. But I do hope it get better for other people.
Yeah, that's
I'm not even crazy about the May 1st opening. I'm not ready. That's too soon.
I mean, we don't know.
They
It might not happen.
might
If
have
y'all
something.
think it's gonna happen though, it might not. May 1st.
All right, well, let's go it on. When we close this out, let's go it on and pray.
For real.
Praying we can make some things happen. So,
But I think it definitely is helpful to have a schedule. I know, Angel, you said that you have a schedule, and that's one thing that's really been helping me is I have a pretty strict schedule that I go by, but it's a balance between the work that I have to do and then social stuff as well. So like my day consists of not only doing my remote work, but I have scheduled time where I do a workout or I journal or I go outside and get some fresh air. I eat, like I break up my day so that I'm able to not only do my work stuff, but also work on things for me personally. So by the end of the day, I don't feel drained and it's a good balance of things that I need to work on where I'm not just sitting in front of the computer for 8 to 9 hours straight. Like I'm breaking up the monotony.
I think during this, I've been struggling very bad because I'm a homebody by nature. But to be forced to be a homebody is like I'm going through it, and I'm like very social at work. So I just kind of been struggling a little bit, like mentally. Like I feel like I'm alone in my thoughts too much. And I don't like that. I'm like really mentally unpacking things that I really didn't really want to, but it's forcing me to do so. So I guess it's a good thing in a sense, but I've been struggling. I have like no motivation to do anything. I barely want to log on for work, work on projects. So I don't know. I think I miss going to work. Like one day I was like, I even miss being in traffic. I probably really don't mean that, but I don't know. I'm just sick of just being in this space.
But I wonder, would it be different if outside was open? If you still had to work from home, but yet you were able to leave and do everything you had to do after work, would it be as bad?
Am I the only one drinking?
that'd
No.
be ideal. That'd be ideal, man. That'd be ideal.
Well,
Well, I've been smoking and working. Don't tell nobody though.
I had to work. Like I've worked from home before when life was open and I hated it. So like when this happened, I knew I wasn't gonna be in a good space. So I'm like one of them people that I actually have to be in the physical place to actually be productive at work. Because working from home be a struggle. I would actually cancel my work from home days and just go into work.
Well, I really hate to hear that you are struggling in this space. You know that I'm always here if you want to chat. And I'm not gonna lie, I know we supposed to be social distancing, but I've been social distancing, but I've still been like visiting people and having like people over. So don't judge me. But if you need to go see a friend, I'm not saying go to house parties or anything like that. But I'm not the type of person, like, I'm gonna be very open. I haven't been wearing a mask. When I go out, which I don't really go out, but when I do, I'm not out with the mask. I'm not wearing gloves. And some people have talked about me, like, Monisa, get your life together. You need to
Yep. I
cover
was one.
you need to cover yourself, but at the same time, I haven't really been putting myself in a lot of positions where I'm really around people anyways. Like I just go to the grocery store and then I come right back out, and I don't go to the grocery store as much as I was doing before. But anyways, I say all of that to say, if you are a person who is comfortable going to visit a friend and you find yourself in a space where mentally this has been really challenging, if you're comfortable with, going to visit a friend or something like that, I would say go do it. It's just, I'm not the type of person that lives my life in fear. I live my life in wisdom, obviously, and I'm not putting myself in necessarily unsafe situations, but at the same time, like I'm gonna do what's best for me also mentally. And if seeing a friend for a couple of hours is something that I need in that moment, then I'm gonna do it.
I think for me, I'm trying to get to the bottom of like why we as a society, we are desensitized to like trauma and pain and suffering altogether. I've still been working like a lot actually, and from like the institution that I work at, for us to be like going on as business as normal or whatever, it's really kind of messing me up, and I feel bad for so many people. Like, how many of us know people affected by what's going on, the pandemic or whatever, and we still have to go about business as usual? Like, people are literally dying at numbers we haven't seen before. People have lost jobs. People have lost loved ones and all of this. And it's like, oh, we hear bad news and we're like, oh, okay, well, what's the next deadline or what do we got to do next? I'm trying to process that and trying to get to the bottom of why we are where we are.
Yeah.
Well,
Deep.
Does anybody else have any thoughts about just kind of the whole, COVID-19, just personally, or, how you're doing, or maybe even tips for somebody else that's on this Zoom that is struggling, things that you tell them that may help them get through it? Again, like I said, a daily schedule has really been helping me kind of stay focused on things. So
yeah, you helped me with that when you told me in our IG. I was like, yeah, I should go outside on my breaks or do a little workout. Like, it helped.
It really makes a big difference. And I've been sharing that with like anybody that I have conversation with about this. I share my schedule with them. Like one of my old students from John Marshall, she was a student or is a student at Ohio State. So obviously we know Ohio, all college students were affected by this. And she has to go back home to Cleveland to finish the semester virtually. So, I checked on her, text her how she was doing. And as a college student, she's a freshman. She's really struggling, or was struggling with, how to get everything done, being at home, not being in a school environment. And I shared with her my daily schedule, and she was, very thankful and said that was something that she was going to start trying to do. I just think it gives us balance. And at the end of the day, even outside of Corona, I feel like most people struggle with work-life balance anyways. And so being in this working from home situation, for those of us that are still working from home, is really forcing us to unpack what work-life balance truly looks like. Because while it's difficult to have work-life balance when you're physically going to work, now that you're working from home, it's 10 times harder to have work-life balance, because now your work is at home, and knowing when to focus on home and knowing when to focus on work. And so I definitely encourage anybody that hasn't really found their flow yet to try to incorporate a schedule that is a balance of some time doing some work and some time doing things that are just solely focusing on yourself.
All that and see a counselor.
Yeah, really. There's a lot of therapists that are doing online sessions. So I know my counselor, even though I was seeing her before all of this, I found my counselor on therapyforblackgirls.com. So there's a lot of Black therapists on that website, not necessarily just for Black women, but if you specifically want a Black therapist, you can find a therapist in your area on that website.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's free. So you go to the website and you type in, your zip code or your address, and then it pulls up all Black therapists in your area.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So let me see. What's something else on here? A lot of relationship stuff. What's the story of your first crush or your current love?
Oh, Lord.
All right, so why you running away? So I first seen Angel, probably like November 2018. She was on the choir, I was on the drums. And I thought she was new. I was like, who is that in the front in the choir? And so I was still in a relationship at the time. But yeah.
We didn't talk.
No, we didn't talk. We didn't talk. But then I saw her again in the choir, like in February, like 2019. I was like, who is that? Then this time she had a different hairstyle. So I didn't think she was the same person. So, but at that time I was out of relationship, but I was fresh out. So, and then back in like June of last year, I was like, oh, that's that same woman again.
You thought I was older than what I was.
I thought she was like 35.
What's wrong with 35?
Nothing. I'm just saying, I like older women in general. I'm just like, she ain't gonna want to talk to me.
Boy, I thought he had a cougar, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know. But then I was like, you know what? Then I asked one of the choir members, what's her name? She told me her name. And so then I looked her up on Facebook. Yeah, I'm a stalker. I looked her up on Facebook, then I messaged her. You know what I'm saying? The guy from the drummer from the drums from church. And then
I was like, hey, I've been checking for you for years.
She didn't tell me that till later though. But it's just funny how we was both like searching for each other, or like how likely for each other just before we even met.
Mm-hmm.
So
what about your first? What was the question again?
The question was, what's the story of your first crush or your current love?
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't have a current love, so I don't really have a story about current loves. And like my first crush was in preschool, and it was a white boy. And I don't really remember too many other details, but I remember like.
Go back.
You said what?
You should go back and try that again.
A white boy?
Yeah, this way.
No, I'm cool. Interracial dating is not my ministry.
Okay. All right, Dr. Umar Johnson gonna get you. Don't do that.
You said what?
Dr. Umar Johnson gonna get you. Don't do that.
Who Johnson?
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Umar.
Oh.
He's something else.
All right. Does anybody else have any stories about their first crush or their current love that they would like to share?
Yeah, my first crush was elementary school, of course. So I don't know, like we used to play dodgeball on Fridays. So, to show your love, you you chase her around and you smash it with a ball. So the thing is, my ball went a little bit too high, busted in the face, messed the whole little thing up. So I ran into her in Port Arthur, like probably a year ago. Still bad now, still bad. So, I went on ahead and, hey, how you doing? She's like, oh, I've been good, my little girl running around here somewhere. I said, oh, that's what's up. So I seen a little girl, beautiful little girl or whatever. First thing she said, baby, this the dude that hit your mom in the face with that dodgeball. I said, oh, man. I said, yeah, you still remember that, huh? I ain't even try to holler at her. I was done with it. I said, yeah, I might as well walk away from that one. She's still holding grudges 35 years later. I'm done. So, yeah, that's the story of my little first crush.
Anybody else?
I go.
Don't forget, I sent everybody the link. So if you have questions that you want to submit anonymously, you can submit them through that link. It's slido.com. And the access code is #320. So there are a few questions in here, but again, if there's something else that you want to throw into the mix, definitely go ahead and submit that now. Go ahead, Tevis. Were you about to say something?
Yeah. Just thinking about my first crush. I was also in elementary school. I think I was probably in the 3rd grade. But I had this girl. Her name is Shamika.
And oddly, I don't remember. She was fast too. Now that I like kind of recap and think about things, but
Don't put Mika out there like that.
Yeah, Shamika was on one at goddamn 8.
It's too close to my name.
Oh, who is that?
Janiqua.
Oh, my.
Hold on. What type of fast are we talking about?
In the third grade.
Yeah.
Running,
so much
running
so. Huh?
Running fast or hot?
Nah, bro. She was hot.
Oh my God.
So much so that like my only standout memory of us together is we rode the bus home together. You know, we got kicked off the bus for kissing, and my mama was hot. I remember she had like a little hole in her stocking. She had put my hair in there. I was like, yo, thinking about that third grade, that was just too much, man. I wish I could find Shamika today. I wish I could be like my guy, see her 30 years later, but I don't know where Shamika's at.
You ain't tried to look her up on Facebook?
I don't know her last name.
Oh, okay. You ain't got a class picture? Was she in your class?
Yeah.
You don't have a class picture from the third grade?
I don't.
Man, Monisa, don't everybody don't keep up with all that stuff. Everybody's life ain't as organized as yours.
Right. I'll keep up.
Whatever. Okay, so here's another one. I guess everything is just gonna be like relationships. The question is, has anyone watched Love is Blind on Netflix? If so, or I guess if not, do you think meeting someone blindly is a good format to dating?
I watched it and I loved it, and yes, I think it. I don't think I would do it, but I like when other people do it.
So I used to set up blind dates. So back in Cleveland, in another life, I had like a matchmaking thing that I used to do, and I set up like 2 or 3 couples on blind dates, and one of them actually ended up like becoming a couple. Like they actually like hooked up. So I think it's kind of cool. I've been on a blind date before.
Have you seen Love is Blind?
I saw it. I did see it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not against the blind dating. I guess I'm just kind of at a point in my life where, because I'm still single and dating just has not been the greatest experience, I'm just kind of open to trying new things. And so I'd be open to a blind date, especially depending on who's hooking up the blind date. Like if it's somebody that I know and I'm like, okay, they not gonna have me out here on a date with Cookie Monster.
I tried.
Look at my face.
I was not ready for that Cookie Monster.
No, Alicia, you know these. Let me quit. These guys be out here looking like Cookie Monsters, and for the guys, you know, it's probably chicks out here that be looking like them too. But I would be open to a blind date. My fear is that it would be somebody that I low key already know.
Would you stop?
If it's somebody that I know?
Yeah.
Like stop the date?
Yeah, or like, yeah.
I mean, I'm not rude. So if I'm on a date, I'm a finish the
I'm talking about I'm more so talking about your vibes though. Like,
so I don't have a poker face.
No.
So if I'm not interested or if I'm not feeling something, I don't know how to fake it. I don't know how to fake that type of energy. So I feel like if I'm on a date with someone and I'm not interested, if he's aware, if he's paying attention, he will be able to tell that I'm not really engaged. So I think it'll just kind of fizzle itself out.
What are you doing, sir?
Nah, I was in and out of my garage. My apologies.
Has anybody else been on a blind date before?
I have not.
I've always been too nervous. I got catfish before, so.
Oh, I want to hear about this catfish.
Yeah, man. She was like 6'3". I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna work. She was tall. I'm tall.
She had to try some new methods, man. She probably been cracked on all her life.
Hey, I'm thinking like, shit, we can hit the Y. I mean, shit, we can hit the gym.
Take your Uber.
We can go shoot some basketball, but nah, she just was. I mean, it was just so different, though, man. I mean, she was a completely different person from the pictures that I had saw. It wouldn't have been an issue or whatever, but I just feel like she was already being deceptive and stuff. I fake face and everything. Fake picture and stuff. So when I first met her, she was like, let me apologize first. I know I'm not, who I said I was or whatever. So, we continued to date and stuff. It's just, I just kind of felt like, she just kind of played me a little bit to the left by.
Shout out to you, man.
Huh?
For continuing that date. Shout out to you for continuing that date.
Yeah, man, I went on ahead and paid for the meal and everything.
Oh, man.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I mean, I couldn't do it like that, man. I mean, but the thing is, that was crazy because her and I are still cool to this day. We still cool to this day. But yeah, we just couldn't take it no further than just a friendship.
So that's a good segue into a question that I just got. Do you think others miss out on a good person to date because they aren't who they are attracted to physically?
You.
I think so.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just tough. It's tough.
But if you're not attracted, what can you do? I mean,
I know. Man. It's tough.
Man.
I feel like no matter how much we try to make that not priority, it just is. Like you gotta be attracted to that.
I gotta be attracted to you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I also think that there are times that you may not initially be attracted to someone, but if you do give it that time to hang out or get to, you enjoy their personality, ugly person to you may start to look a lot better. I have experienced that.
But see, I struggle with that. So like, okay, perfect example. There was a guy recently that I met on Facebook and we did a virtual date. And when I first saw him on Facebook, I was scrolling through his pictures, stalking, and I was just like, yeah, he ain't really my type, but let me just see. We did a virtual date. We FaceTimed, and I wasn't attracted to him. Nice guy. I can tell that he was like serious and everything, but like the attraction wasn't there for me. And for me personally, if I'm not attracted to you initially, it's hard for me to stick around and continue to want to get to know you, be around you, because in my mind, I've already said, nah, I'm good. And so either what's going to happen is you're going to either be friend zoned or I'm going to ghost you. And what ended up eventually happening with this guy was I just kind of faded to black. Like he would text me, I would respond. My answers will be kind of short, but like I can't fake attraction. I can't force attraction, and I can't wait around for attraction to pop up because it's either there or it's not. And no matter how nice of a guy you are, just because you're a nice guy doesn't mean you're the guy for me.
But I see it both ways though, because I'm just like you. Like if there's an initial attraction for someone that's new, it's probably not about to go anywhere because I'm not gonna have any real interest. However, I agree with him as well because like if you're around someone enough times, like you continue, like if you work with somebody or a friend of a friend that you can, like you're always around, they do become more attracted to you in their personality. But like I think stuff like that just kind of happens. Like it happens over time because you spend time. Like initially, I was going after it, so. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're forced to be around them, then you can't help what can naturally happen. But if you get to choose, if you get to be around them, then I ain't choosing to be around you.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that as well because there was a girl in high school that I couldn't stand her, and I didn't think she was attractive. But we were at the state track meet, and her and I started hanging out. The thing is, since she was on the track team as well. I used to see her every day. Eventually, we exchanged numbers and began to talk. And a lot of people thought that, like, what is he doing? But the thing is, she had grown on me. Like, she had grown on me to the point to where I fell for this woman. Like, we was together for like 2 years. And she broke my heart.
Always the ugly ones that break your heart.
Yeah, she broke my heart. But the thing is, though, like, she wouldn't have been someone that I would have just chosen. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those situations where we became friends and she grew on me because she's really the only woman that I was conversing with at the time. So,
Did you
and we
dog
was
her when y'all break up?
not at all.
I'm
Not
like,
at all.
I ain't even like you.
Nah, not at all, man. I didn't dog or whatever, but a few people did because they knew what she was out there doing. So, but yeah, that's, but honestly, like it is tough though to just choose somebody, especially if you're not around them all the time, to choose someone that you are not physically attracted to. So
I think it's also hard when you actually factor in as well, like when you're on like the dating apps and you like swipe it right, because you're people really don't write as much content like in the bios and stuff like that. So you really going based off of attraction. So it's hard to say the least.
So maybe it would be better to do the Love is Blind approach, where people will probably be together.
Yeah. It makes sense.
That'd be tough.
It'll be tough, but it does.
I think it's the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I liked it till I did.
My friend is trying to hook me up with one of his friends that he knows, but the guy is not attractive at all. But like we've been conversing, and he seems like a cool guy, but just physically, he's not physically attractive to me. So I'm just like, do I put him in a friend zone or, see where this goes? So
he's gonna grow attracted to you. Like, if you're not attracted to him now, chances are you're not about to become attracted to him. Not in that way.
Right.
I think it's even tougher nowadays.
I think people assume that just because a person is nice and they have great qualities and things look good on paper, people just assume that you have to like that person or you have to be with that person. And I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I mean, you could be a nice guy, but that don't mean that you are the guy for me. You the guy for somebody else. But if I'm not attracted to you, I'm not about to force myself to like you just because you are a nice guy. Like,
what's the same way you could be physically attractive and have a terrible personality like that? Essentially, unattractive. Like, just because you look good, don't mean I want to be with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Less attractive. So it's like you can be fine as hell and dumb as hell. We can't talk about nothing. I probably can't date you. You know what I mean?
The thing is though, you'll give that attractive dumb guy a chance quicker than you would the ugly intelligent guy.
Initially, probably so.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. He's gonna have the gateway in where you fine. Okay, we can go out. But then you start talking. I'm be like, oh, this won't happen again. And he was.
All right, guys. Well, it is 8:58, and I don't want to keep you guys longer than the time that was allotted on the flyer. So I definitely want to appreciate all of you guys and say thank you for, logging in and trying this out virtually. Obviously, this was a new experience for me, and I hope that you guys enjoy yourself. And I probably will reach out tomorrow just to kind of get everybody's feedback on your thoughts, especially those of you that experienced it in person compared to virtually, and just kind of talking about the differences between the virtual experience compared to the in-person experience or whatnot. But again, thank you guys so much for joining the Mixed Company Zoom. And if, you guys are interested in joining any other ones in the future, definitely let me know. But I definitely want to call it a night. I don't want to hold you guys too much longer. Is there any last comments or anything else that anybody wants?
What did you want us to do? Like the video, what did you want us to talk about? Or
the testimonial?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys can send me a text message testimonial or a video testimonial, I've been building out the social media page, even though it's not public right now, but I've been building the content on my social media page for Mixed Company. And so I definitely want to include you guys, your testimonials, whether it's via text or a video. So it can just be pretty much you talking about your experience with Mixed Company, how you enjoyed it, what you got out of it, just anything positive that you guys have to say about the experience so that I can feature it on the page. And then like I was just kind of saying earlier, for those of you that join later, I really want to see how I can build this out even further, especially because of the whole social distancing thing, and seeing if making this virtual is probably the best option for Mixed Company until we're able to start doing stuff in person again. So anything that you have, any type of feedback, you can definitely send that to me, and I definitely want to put that on the social media. And then I'll let you guys know when the social media will go live, but I've just been keeping it private and not promoting it until I build more content on that site.
And I think this is an amazing networking opportunity for all. I mean, you know, we've met people from, you know, different walks of life, you know, musicians, people, advocates, people work with kids. I think if you guys are comfortable, you know, in the chat, in the group chat, put your Instagram handle or Facebook or whatever you're comfortable with, so we can all keep in touch with one another.
Yes, and I definitely encourage that. I know at the last Mixed Company event that I did in February, everybody took it amongst themselves to exchange contact information and Instagram information, which is something that I absolutely loved. So if you guys, you know, want to continue to stay in touch with one another, follow one another, I definitely encourage that as well. Because that's the whole point of this, is to bring people together and to connect, not to only have these type of conversations, but hopefully to build relationships beyond Mixed Company and to build new friends. All right, well, thank you guys. You all be safe. Y'all wear y'all mask. I'm gonna work on me wearing one eventually.
Mo, you need to wear mask and glove. I told you was out here living reckless.
I went through this website. It was this company that's giving away free masks. So I did sign up. So I'm going to get at least one mask in the mail. And my hairstylist sent a text message to all her clients saying that moving forward, once they reopen, all clients have to wear a mask. So I'm going to have to get a mask. So yes, I will be getting a mask.
I have extra mask over here if you need one.
Oh, thanks, bub. All right, well, you guys have a good night. Be safe, and I will be in touch.
Good deal. It's nice meeting everybody.
Bye.
All right, bye, guys.